All right, Paki, did you watch any football this weekend?
What a question. Of course I watched football, man. What are you talking about? Of course I watched football. It's the freaking playoffs, man.
Playoffs?
Playoffs? That's right. Of course. Of course I watched football. By the way, first I have to mention my awesomeness. I'm 8 for 8 in my playoff predictions so far. 9 for 9 if you include the FBS Championship Bowl and NCAA. So I will be making my predictions for this week shortly.
At 3:05 p.m. on Fox, the Green Bay Packers will be playing at the Atlanta Falcons. And how do you want to approach this?
All right, it's very simple, man. I mean, last week I was right in all my predictions. I'm going to give mine right off the bat. Surprise, surprise, I'm going with the Green Bay Packers for this game, first and foremost. A lot of people are saying, no, but the Falcons' offense, it's amazing. I mean, if Seattle Seahawks couldn't shut them down, Packers can't shut them down either. That makes sense. I mean, the Packers' secondary has been pretty bad, and they're pretty banged up as well. Julio Jones is probably gonna score at least twice, maybe 3 times. Who knows? Matt Ryan, who is right now the favorite for the MVP award. Surprise, surprise. He's probably going to ball out. Let's see. I mean, I think this is his first big scenario. I expect him to ball out. Devontae Freeman, he might be the quietest one of all because Green Bay has a pretty solid front, but he might have a good game. But how about Aaron Rodgers? This guy's playing the best football of his career. I mean, obviously, once again, my disclaimer, it is a prediction. I can be wrong. But the way that I see this, if the Falcons score 40, Aaron Rodgers is going to score 41. If the Falcons score 45, Rodgers is going to score 46. This guy is unstoppable. The throws that this guy is making are amazing. The way this guy is playing and extending plays is amazing. I mean, if the Giants' pass rush was toyed around with by the Green Bay Packers offensive line, if the solid Dallas Cowboys defense, bend but not break, broke pretty bad. Pretty bad. I expect the Falcons defense has a really good pass rush with Vic Beasley, but the way Aaron Rodgers is moving around, I mean, can you really pass rush the guy? I mean, you got to stay in front of him. You can't get behind him because he's just going to run around, find somebody open. I know his receivers are banged up, but this is all about Aaron Rodgers. I have this strong feeling in the playoffs to always go not only with the best quarterback, but the quarterback that's playing the best, that has the best momentum at the time. Matt Ryan is doing a great job, but Aaron Rodgers is playing at an all-time level. I cannot go against Aaron Rodgers the way he's playing at this moment. So I'm going to go with the Packers on this one. He did an excellent job against the Cowboys. I expect him to do again the same versus the Falcons.
I agree with every single thing you said, Paki, except for one thing, and that's that I think that the Atlanta Falcons actually get a chance to pull this off. I believe at this stage, Aaron Rodgers has won 8 games in a row. I mean, how unprecedented would it be to win 9? He's getting back Jordy Nelson potentially.
Wait.
Go ahead.
Sorry to interrupt you. Now that you mentioned that win streak, I saw on Twitter a guy that started a $300 bet direct on the Green Bay Packers on their first game of that winning streak, and he's kept writing it, and he's up to $73,000 already.
Yep, I saw that too.
And he's going to write it again this weekend. I
mean, there's only one way that ends, and that's when he loses it all. But hey, man, more power to him. Again, I was saying the Atlanta Falcons are prime, man. They're playing at home. The fear was, and again, shout out to Cousin Juan, that the Falcons kind of freeze in the chilly weather. Well, they won't have to play in chilly weather this year. They're going to have the chance to play in the dome. I think that ultimately Atlanta has too many weapons, and I'm sorry, I got a little bit distracted, but the point I was trying to make is that the Green Bay Packers potentially get back Jordy Nelson. Now, is 70% of Jordy Nelson better than not having him at all? Like trying to throw to a guy who's not 100%, who may not be able to stretch because he has, pain in his ribs and possibly problems with his breathing due to a collapsed lung, as was reported. Is that better? Like, does that even distract the defense? I could probably put like my second or even third cornerback on him, and let him try to win jump balls and such. In terms of the receivers for Aaron Rodgers, they didn't look great against Dallas. I mean, it was a surprise receiver, Jared Cook, who did most of the receiving in that game. He caught all of the really important balls. Adams was pretty quiet. Randall Cobb had an important catch, at least that I remember seeing, but he didn't have anything of note. They still have no running game, and they're relying totally on Aaron Rodgers. And I see how that could work against the New York Giants, who lost a Dominique Rodgers-Cromartie early in the game. I see how that works against Dallas, who traditionally have not had a great defense, and they definitely don't have any kind of pass rush. Like, it didn't seem to me like Rodgers was in trouble for most of the game. But Atlanta is for real. Weapons on offense, a really good defense that was able to shut down Russell Wilson, who we think very highly of, both because of his ability to throw on the run and just to keep plays alive with his legs. It's unprecedented, man. I mean, for as much as I would love to see a Rodgers-Brady Super Bowl, Atlanta at this stage playing that well and at home may be the toughest challenge this year so far for Aaron Rodgers. Let me not forget, they played this year on October 30th, and Atlanta actually beat Aaron Rodgers. See, the way that you said that if Atlanta scores 44, the Packers, or rather Aaron Rodgers, is going to go score 45. Well, in that game, Atlanta scored 33, and the Packers scored 32. So I'm not sure if I'm calling this controversy, but at least in the first matchup, we disagree. I'm thinking Atlanta wins this one.
I mean, Vegas is giving this game a 60-point line, bro. That means this game is going to be fireworks off the get-go. There's no way anybody's playing the under on that game. Has to go over. It will be a lot of points. Atlanta clearly has no problem scoring. I think Rodgers is going to score. And you said the key reason why I'm going to go with the Packers. Even though the receivers weren't that good, they made plays in key moments. And that's what it's all about in the playoffs. I'm going against the grain.
All right. So next matchup starts at 6:40 on CBS. It's going to be the Pittsburgh Steelers playing in Foxborough against the New England Patriots. So the Steelers got to this game by beating the Kansas City Chiefs. Some things of note we're going to talk about probably in a few minutes. The New England Patriots utterly dominated, even in a game where their key player Tom Brady didn't do great. They dominated the the Texans. My God, I forgot the names. I almost called them everything else but the Texans. All right, so the New England Patriots beat the Houston Texans. Yeah, I think I'm low on vitamins. Tell me how this game is going to go down, Ben.
Yeah, you got to fill up your boot, man. Obviously, that Texan-Patriot game was a gimme. Everybody knew Houston had no chance whatsoever of winning that game. They did put up a great effort on defense versus Brady. They made him struggle here and there. Brady's completion percentage was a little low, was lower than usual, very much lower than usual. But at the end of the day, the Patriots won, and look at that. Everybody kept talking about, for Kansas City, everybody kept mentioning this Tyreek Hill guy. He can score on the ground, he can score on the air, he can score on special teams. Well, how come nobody's talking about Dion Lewis for the Patriots? Dion Lewis, man, he scored on the ground, on the air, and through special teams. This guy was pretty much the MVP of that game. It was obvious the Patriots were going to win that game. But on the Steelers side, this is where I really want to get to. First of all, I got to say publicly here on this awesome podcast, how much of a bonehead is Antonio Brown? The guy live broadcasted his coach's speech, obviously without his consent, in the locker room after the game. So? I mean, seriously, you have to be mentally challenged to do this sort of stuff. As a coach, what you talk in the locker room, what you talk to your team after or before the game is very private. If you wanted everybody to hear it, you would say it on speakers. I mean, you say it, especially in pro football, you say it away from the media. I mean, you saw Mike Tomlin cursing, and as a matter of fact, saying some things that might not be appropriate for the normal audience. Although I agree with everything he said. Right? But Antonio Brown, I mean, could you imagine Can you imagine Mike Tomlin would have said something like, next week we're going to run the ball on the Patriots until can you imagine he would have said our game plan this week is going to be this and that? Can you imagine? And that's what we're going to work on this week. I mean, he would be helping Spygate without the spy. It's Antonio Brown giving away.
There is no possible way that he's going to tell you that after having won a game on the last possession, essentially, that he's already planned what they're going to do for the Patriots. Man, forget about that. This is the dumbest controversy ever.
No,
Dude,
you don't know.
Listen,
you don't know what he could have said.
These are the first few months of Facebook Live, and this is just a sign of things to come. You're getting younger players that are involved in the media. For what I know, the NFL is actually encouraging, or the teams rather, are encouraging players to be more social, to attract more of a crowd by having a personality. Although they have rules to prevent you from having personality when you score touchdowns, but that's neither here nor there. Now, however, they encourage for you to basically reach out and expand your fan base. This is the dumbest possible controversy I could ever think of.
Come on.
Who gives
There's
a
no way
hell?
you can justify. You can't justify that. It's private conversation between the team. It's private.
Who said it was private conversation? Everybody there is celebrating. This wasn't like you're sitting down in prayer.
The media's not there.
Teams
get 15 minutes after the game.
Right.
Teams get 15 minutes after the game.
This is not a team account. This is not a media account. This is Antonio Brown, who's a player. And if Antonio Brown deems it fit that whatever you're telling him as a player, he can go ahead and tell whoever follows him, amen to that.
How about the fact that you can clearly tell the way that Antonio Brown is smiling and dancing around the camera? He's not even paying attention to what his coach is saying.
Who cares?
How disrespectful is that? That's not disrespectful either.
Oh, my God. That's the dumbest thing in the world. The coach shouldn't have been saying, listen, at that point, the coach should not have been saying shit that matters anyway. It should all have been about, hey, we won, celebrate, don't get into any trouble. Which I heard him say, by the way, lay low, stay off of this, don't do that.
He clearly said stay off social media, and the guy's doing a Facebook Live.
Yeah, but come on. I mean,
no.
Mike Tomlin is not his father. Okay? And
no, he's not, but he's his boss. And you your boss.
No, incorrect. Hold on. What you mean his boss?
Of course he's his boss.
No.
And if your boss tells you can't use the cell phone in the office, you can't use the cell phone in the office.
No. Listen.
I mean, how would you feel, Jay, if you're leading? Let's go into an office environment. Wait, no,
coaches,
listen. How would
who
you
gets
feel
paid more,
if you're
the
leading
coaches or star players?
Players. Doesn't matter.
I've never known a boss to make less money than me.
The chain of command, doesn't matter. Chain of command.
The coach is there to put you in the right place to succeed. He is not your boss.
Yes, he is your boss because he has the right.
Incorrect.
He could fire you. All right,
he cannot fire you.
What? Coaches cut players. What are you talking about?
Okay, go ahead and cut Antonio Brown and see what happens to you.
No, the GM gives you 90 players for you to build a roster. You're free to cut and add whoever you want. It's that simple.
That's fine. And ultimately, you recommend someone to get cut, and the GM is going to say, you know what? This one you can. Man, you have Mike Tomlin. I dare you. I will lend you my testicles. You have two pairs.
No. You're getting.
Go ahead and do anything you feel to Antonio Brown and see how that works out to you. Listen,
we're getting out of hand because he's not. He's not going to cut Antonio Brown. But he is his boss.
No.
He is his boss.
Mm-mm.
And let me put it to you this way.
He's associate.
If you are leading a conference in your office, whether you're the boss or not, and you're talking, and people are texting and selfieing, you're going to feel like you want to punch them in the face. And that's pretty much, it's disrespectful. And that's what Antonio Brown was doing. So there's no justification to that. But let's get back to football because I'm pissed off with that topic. Fuck Antonio Brown and the way he behaved himself in that part.
Go AB, and I hope he tears TB a new one.
Yeah, no, I mean, nothing against Antonio Brown, the person. I'm talking about his behavior in that specific situation. But, I mean, just how we have that controversy with Antonio Brown, the Steelers beat the Kansas City Chiefs. I think it was clear that Andy Reid needs to move on from Alex Smith. Everything that we thought, everything that I thought, everything that everybody thinks is that Alex Smith is a great guy to get you to the playoffs, but he will never ever take you to a Super Bowl. He cannot make big plays when the moments count. He cannot stretch the field, and he doesn't scare absolutely no defense. He's not a playmaker. You cannot make it. There's so much talent in Kansas City. It's not fair that this team is getting dragged behind because Alex Smith is not good enough to take you to the Super Bowl. They gotta get a gunslinger. They gotta get a playmaker there behind center. Obviously, it might be a project, but whatever it is, you got to start thinking of a plan B. Alex Smith is not the guy to take you to the promised land. It's been clear for the last couple of years, and it was clear again last weekend.
Dude, don't ask me about offensive lines. Don't ask me about what a guard is supposed to do. Don't ask me about schemes. I watch the three main offensive positions and probably the 3 or 4 main defensive positions, and that's how I enjoy my football. That's me. You have a different mind, and that's why you're part of this show, because you bring a perspective that I might never look at. I don't plan to or intend to ever be any sort of coach.
Stop sweetening me up. Give me the bomb. What are you trying to say?
With that being said,
with that being said, here it comes.
Head to head in the positions that matter, I thought that Pittsburgh was head and shoulder above Kansas City. I don't know what this mention is of all this talent that they have, but in the positions that they matter, Pittsburgh is head and shoulders better. Now, with that being said, and I'm sorry if I'm sounding a little bit redundant, Kansas City was able to keep Pittsburgh from scoring not a single touchdown. And that resulted in the emergence of the fourth killer bee, by the way. We already knew about Ben and Brown and Bell, and in this game, it was a showcase from Boswell. 6 field goals, 18 points. Even with that said, the defense did their part. They kept the team from scoring a single touchdown. When it came down to it, Alex Smith, he did not look like a person who choked, man. He came up the field. He completed the passes that he needed to complete. He made the right decisions. One of them was kind of a gimme. I think he got a pass interference that was called in his favor that put him in a position to score. He threw the touchdown that led to the score. He actually completed the 2-point conversion, which got called back because of a holding play, which some consider controversial, Omar. I clearly understand what a holding play is. Yeah, I totally understand what a holding play is. I play defensive line, as you know, and I am clear that if a player is standing to your side, reaching over from one side of your body to the other to try to grab your shoulder pad, that is a hold even if you do it for 1 second. There's nothing to debate there. Now, had he not held, had he be able to bump James Harrison off and not have to hold him, not have to take him down, would it have mattered? Would Alex Smith still been able to complete the pass? We were never going to know. But there is absolutely no controversy there. That was a hold. What I do think is that the ref shouldn't have called that, man. Just let him play. Just let him play and let the play on the football field decide the outcome.
You mentioned... Yeah, go ahead, finish. I thought you were done. I'm just really eager to talk.
I don't like that the game basically came down to a call. Like, after playing 60 minutes of football, after having watched that for almost 3 hours, if not 3 hours as a football fan, it comes down to one call of many that were missed, of many that were made, one call to decide the whole game.
All right. First of all, let's get something clear. Kansas City is loaded with talent. I know you watch the main positions, but I'm not even talking about offensive line. I'm talking about their defense, their special teams. They're loaded, especially on defense. And you just mentioned the main reason why they're loaded. These guys didn't allow a single touchdown all game. Yeah, Alex Smith did a great job at the end. It wasn't his fault, I agree. But you lost to a team that didn't score a single touchdown, Alex Smith. Do you really think you can beat Tom Brady without scoring a single touchdown?
Didn't Alex Smith score the touchdowns, though? He got his touchdown in.
Yeah, but you're supposed to have a quarterback that's going to take advantage of this situation, not a quarterback that when your defense gets a 3-and-out, you get a 3-and-out. That's not how you win in the playoffs.
I see what you're saying, but his two most notable appearances in the playoffs, and why people seem to think that he's not a playoff quarterback. One of them came down to a pretty well-thrown pass that was dropped in the end zone when he was playing with San Francisco. And now this one where he actually completed the two-point conversion. He had a chance to win that game when the team was down, understanding all the factors that led to him being down in the first place. But he had a chance.
By the way, that two-point conversion would have tied the game,
I understand.
Not win the game.
I know.
Okay, let's be clear on that.
If you're listening to me, you understand what I said. They put him in a position to win the game. They didn't win the game for him. Now, with that being said, oh man, I got to change my catchphrase. I keep saying that. All right, even understanding all of these factors.
You should get a T-shirt.
I'm going to start hashtagging that every time I tweet something. With that being said, anyway, so when it came to it, he made all the right plays. He made the right decisions. If anything, he played better with the pressure of having to do it with time constraints than he did for most of the game. It just didn't break his way, and it didn't break his way in San Francisco. I don't think this has to do with Alex Smith. And mind you, I'm not a fan. You know I'm not a fan of Alex Smith, and I didn't want that team to go forward anyway. But you can blame it on a lot of other things. I don't necessarily think that Alex Smith is who you blame it on. I mean,
I'm gonna imitate a little bit.
Defense was great. What did the offense do? And it wasn't all, on Alex Smith. I don't think of Pittsburgh of being a great defense to begin with, but running game didn't show up. Jeremy Maclin is supposed to be their star receiver. Was he always covered? Did he not catch any balls? They tried to, incorporate Tyreek Hill for however much that worked out for him. Not too great. Travis Kelce did a few Travis Kelce things. Also had a few Travis Kelce drops. It was a good game to watch, even with the low scoring.
Yeah, all I'm saying is a quarterback that threw for 15 touchdowns in 16 games is not the quarterback that I want when my game's on the line. I mean, this guy, you just mentioned Jeremy Maclin didn't step up. Tyreek Hill is because he doesn't know how to throw to wide receivers. He knows how to throw to Travis Kelce and running backs. I don't like Alex Smith as a quarterback to have in that position. I think he's a great stopgap quarterback, a guy that you can get, to plug in while you get a real quarterback. I don't think he's going to take you to the promised land. I think he'll take you as far as what he got. Regardless of the situation of the game, he did not deliver at the moments and when he had to. So, it's such a thing. Well, as soon as they got that holding penalty that he was taken to the 12. If it was Drew Brees, if it was Big Ben, if it was A-Rod, if it was Brady, if it was Andrew Luck, you'd be like, okay, they still got a chance. As soon as they got that 10-yard penalty, and it's Alex Smith is like, they're done. They're done. There's no way Alex Smith is going to get that play.
I agree.
So that's the thing. That's why I think I'm not saying he's a bad quarterback, but I mean, just look at what the four quarterbacks that are left are doing. Compare that to Alex Smith.
Yeah.
Now, right, let me get to the Steelers. You still want to defend him? Go ahead.
No, I don't want to defend them. I just want to make one last point on a team that's no longer in contention. This happens way too often. We see this a lot in all sports. Kansas City, even with Alex Smith, is too good to ever get any substantial draft pick that's going to land you a better quarterback than Alex Smith. And that's basically their reality for as long as they have him there. So they're kind of stuck where they are.
In theory, but you could develop one. I mean, Aaron Rodgers was a late first. Remember, they got him with Brett Favre. And do you know Dak Prescott's story? In theory, you're right. But, if you do your proper scouting and you give him time to build, you can get it done. But let me get to the Steelers, man, because we're lasting too long on this.
So the Steelers
Chiefs, and I hate them.
Preview?
Yeah, let's talk about the Steelers, man. The Steelers are playing the New England Patriots.
Right.
This was tough for me. This was tough for me, and since I'm on a roll, I'm on a streak. I was decided with the Packers from the get-go, but this one's tough for me to choose, but I got to pick one. And again, I'm going against the grain. I think the Pittsburgh Steelers are going to beat the New England Patriots. Surprise, surprise. Everybody has Tom Brady. I was one that had Tom Brady, but, man, after looking into it, I mean, Le'Veon Bell is a machine. Le'Veon Bell was running Le'Veon Bell is amazing, and the way they're using this guy is even more impressive. I do not see anything in the Patriots' defense to be able to stop Le'Veon Bell, unfortunately. And not just that, I don't think they have a good enough pass rush to limit Big Ben in case they do take a lead. So I can see Pittsburgh firing back easily every time Patriots fire at them. Of course, Patriots are at home. That's a huge advantage. But Big Ben is no stranger to the cold weather. Big Ben is no stranger to a tough environment, man. Big Ben is probably the toughest, the hardest nailed quarterback in the NFL right now. I mean, this guy has a mind of a freaking warrior. And the way Le'Veon Bell is playing, because everybody's like, oh, Big Ben and Antonio Brown. Man, Le'Veon Bell is the true star of this team. They're running the ball. They're playing old school football. And on top of that, you got a Big Ben that can make really big plays and big moments. I really like the Steelers winning this game. I think the Patriots, although they have been playing their best ball, they've been favored by a very easy schedule throughout the entire season. When they had a really tough matchup against the Seahawks, which was in Foxborough as well, they looked a lot more human, and I expect that to happen when they see the Steelers. And by the way, the Steelers defense, although they are pretty average, they've been playing really good in the playoffs. Bud Dupree has really woken up, not just because of the Matt Moore hit. The guy is all over the place. Ryan Shazier, to me, is one of the most underrated and best linebackers in the entire NFL. I expect Ryan Shazier to be great in this game. So I really like the Steelers, man. It's like my logic tells me to go with the Steelers based on everything that I analyze. My gut tells me, like, are you really going against Brady, Paki? Are you really crazy? I mean, the way Brady is playing, like, are you sure? But I got to go with it, man. I'm going with the Steelers on this one.
Well, my gut tells me to disagree with you, but nope. The fan in me is picking the Pittsburgh Steelers. I picked them a very long time ago to represent the AFC in the Super Bowl, and I haven't changed my opinion. They just have so many ways to beat you. So the advantage that the Patriots have are that they can basically adapt to situations and find ways to limit your best player. But how do you limit your best player when your best player is your quarterback and is also in your backfield and is also your receiver and for that matter is also your kicker?
Yeah.
You know, there's too many things for the Patriots to limit. If you somehow manage to shut down Antonio Brown, Le'Veon Bell's going to kill you. If you stack the box for Le'Veon Bell, they're going to kill you with the passing game. And all they need is just to get a few yards, you know, anywhere within 50 yards is acceptable for Brian Boswell to kick a field goal. I believe that he's totally unfazed and he can kick anything at this point. The Patriots, they are running low. I think they're running on fumes, man. I don't believe that Brady's going to have as bad a game as he had with Houston. Like, if anyone had a chance to beat Tom Brady, it would have been the Houston Texans that day. If Will Fuller catches that ball, that one perfectly thrown ball that only happens once every 7 games for Brock Osweiler, maybe even once a season for Brock Osweiler, maybe we would have been talking about the Texans as a team of destiny, but that was not to be this time around. I think that the Patriots, although they have a lot of ways to get yards on you, and they were fortunate to get the play from Dion Lewis that they got, I don't think that Dion Lewis is going to run you back another touchdown off a kickoff. I don't think that he's going to catch you another touchdown, although he could surprise me. Man, it's just too many things that the Patriots are going to have to contend with on defense. What I'm thinking is, more than anything, is just the Patriots are not going to outscore the Steelers. That's pretty much what I believe. Like, it's not even a matter of the Patriots won't be the Patriots. They'll be the Patriots. They're just not going to outscore the Steelers. That's the way that I'm thinking. That's the way I see it breaking down. By the way, they did play this year. The Patriots beat the Steelers 27-16. I believe, though, that was a game that Big Ben did not play. They played
Exactly.
with
Landry Jones.
Landry Jones. I almost said Jarvis Landry. Who's Jarvis Landry? It's a different team.
Wide receiver for the Dolphins.
They play with Landry Jones, and when Landry Jones played, Antonio Brown is basically a non-factor. So it's going to be a tough one. I see it going to the Steelers. So I'm with you. You said earlier that we're in the minority. well, we're both in the minority, man. I think the Steelers take this one.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to disrespect Tom Brady. I know I spoke very well of him in our last episode, and
Listen,
that's why I don't think the Steelers.
and I don't think you are, man. I just said earlier, the
Yeah.
Patriots are going to be the Patriots. They just have too much to contend with. You know,
Exactly.
the same way that I don't feel Tom Brady's going to have two bad games in a row where he has two interceptions. I also don't feel that the Steelers, you're going to keep him from scoring a single touchdown in a game again. That's not going to happen.
Yeah, I love the momentum the Steelers are bringing in, which is to me is very important in the playoffs. I love how the Pittsburgh defense is really stepping up. And I don't want to say that the Steelers are beating Tom Brady. I prefer to say the Steelers offense is beating the Patriots defense. I mean, Colin Cowherd made a very strong point. I'm going to repeat what he said, not verbatim, but I'm going to share with you guys because I think it's very valid. Everybody's like, well, the Patriots have a top-ranked defense. Well, the Patriots played all year Andy Dalton, Landry Jones, Tyrod Taylor, Russell Wilson, and they lost. Colin Kaepernick, Ryan Fitzpatrick, Jared Goff, Joe Flacco, Trevor Siemian, and Bryce Petty. Listen to the quarterbacks that they went up against. And on the Steelers side, I mean, it's obviously been there, but I'm seeing it more than ever. Big Ben is good. Big Ben is great. Antonio Brown is good. Le'Veon Bell is great. But all three together, they make like a very unique combination that make all three of them look a lot better than what they already are. I mean, it's such a perfect combination, such a perfect way they complement each other. It's so much easier. I mean, you mentioned the Patriots are experts at shutting down like your best target. It's so much easier to shut down a wide receiver than it is to shut down a running back. But more times than none, when you're talking about shutting down a running back or a running game, you have to bring down a safety. You have to load the box. You have to play closer to the line. You know, there's certain things you got to do. But then when you do that, you have Antonio Brown who can easily take a slant to the house, or Antonio Brown who can stretch the field on a single safety deep. And to make matters worse, you have a Big Ben that's a Hall of Fame quarterback. I mean, he's not just a reliable quarterback. He's not just a good quarterback. He's a Hall of Fame quarterback that can stretch plays. He's a Hall of Fame quarterback that can get the ball downfield, and he's very accurate. You know, so it's like this combination of these three I just see it very hard to stop it. And I can see it going all the way to the Super Bowl. I don't know. It's too perfect. It sounds too good to be true when all three of them are on the field. I am very impressed the way they've developed, and they're playing better than ever at this point. You cannot load the box on Le'Veon Bell, so he's going to take his time getting holes. And you cannot have too deep on Antonio Brown, because then Le'Veon Bell is going to do what he does. And you have Big Ben who does what he does. So I don't want to get redundant on this, but my God. On top of that, no pass rush from the Patriots, no real pass rush with Rob Ninkovich. I don't know. I'm not convinced.
I think you passed redundancy like 7 exits ago. Anyway,
Yeah.
bro, so your point was well made. You're picking the Steelers to win this game. I agree with you.
I'm going with the two underdogs that are playing away. Isn't that crazy? I think I'm playing with fire, but I gotta go what I gotta go.
So far, everything was looking like a storybook ending where Aaron Rodgers faces Tom Brady in the Super Bowl. At the beginning of this year, that was heavily covered by ESPN, that Tom Brady and Aaron Rodgers were 1 and 1A as the two top quarterbacks in the NFL. There's still a chance that this storybook ending plays out, but neither you or I have the Patriots beating the Pittsburgh Steelers, all on the basis of offense versus defense.